Alright, welcome back to part 2. We're going to be attacking the rear valve cover today. This is really tight. It's really tough to record, so I'm going to do my best. But the biggest thing is just pretty much need to get this off, get it clean, get it back on, tighten it correctly. This is one job that does have potential for failure if you don't clean. And one of the things that might inhibit you from cleaning is this big old alternator. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to take it out or not, but I don't know. I might take it out just because I want to do a really good job and it's just a couple extra minutes of work. So I'm going to tell you now, it may not be necessary, but I'm going to probably take it anyway. So stay tuned, we got a lot to do today. We're going to go ahead and take the alternator, of course disconnect the battery. We've already done that. We're doing some previous work. It's going to be a 15 mil to get the belt off. Does take some pretty predominant string to do. Choice of tool is critical here. Alright, we'll just kick that off to the side. Now I'm not going to disconnect the alternator as far as the electrical goes. I'm just going to get the bolts out. 1, 2. Normally there's a bar here, but I haven't put it in yet. You will have to take that out. You will need some deep sockets for this. 13 mil to be exact. Should be using a short, but I'm trying to save time. And last but not least, go ahead and take the bottom one out now and get that out of the road. Will warn you now, this alternator is pretty freaking heavy. It's about 140 ampere. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and pull the regulator wire. There's a nice little home for it. Okay, now I'm going to grab the camera and show you what kind of room you don't have, and this is why it was essential to pull this alternator. As you've seen, you got a wire there, you got to clear. You got to get all that dirt out right there. There's no way around it. I am going to leave that bracket though. Now we got alternator out of the way. Now we're going to take the bolts out. I've already taken a shot back and cleaned this out, so we're good there. But make sure you take an air compressor with compressed air, clean this out before you open it so you don't get any dirt in your engine. Alright, let's take it apart. Now these are captures, so you don't have to pull them completely out. Just make sure they're loose so they don't hang up on you and you're trying to come out with it. I'm going to disconnect the O2 sensor. Give me a little bit more room. Alright, plug wires, you're just going to kind of ditch them off the side. Should be a little tight, but not too bad. I'm going to get this harness up above the bar here. These are 3/8 inch bolts, by the way. Alright. Don't forget this one. You can't hardly see it, but it's back here. One thing about using a lot of extensions, it gives you like a mini wobbler. There we go. This one that was being stubborn. Let's see what we can do with it. There we go. Extension and a wobbler. Do it every time. There we go. Yeah, it looks like that bracket's going to be hanging me up after all. Poop. Alright, before you can pull your valve cover, there's a bracket you got to disassemble. This can vary by the year. I've seen some brackets that are worse than this and some that are better. So, there's one by the EGR, it's got to go, and one you can only get by wrench. Be careful not to lose this. Yeah, this turned out to be a little bit more tear down than I thought it was going to be. But that's how it goes. These things vary by the years. This got done doing a 96 and I had more stuff on it than this one. Okay, now we can get that annoying bracket out and then I'll get this valve cover off. I promise you it will come out this way. There we go. One nasty valve cover. Alright, we're going to take the captures out and clean them. We don't want to put those in our parts washer, of course. You just simply just pull out. There's the nasty gasket. Junk. Okay. Get this cleaned up. Back on she goes. So I left the valve cover in the parts washer all night. It actually came out really clean. I didn't have to really do too much. Cannot stress enough, you've got to get these channels clean or oil will fly up and over and out because these are plastic. Not magnesium like the old ones used to be. And it's too bad they're not interchangeable. I'm going to get this last one going here. One thing I like about this design is the fact that you can't put it in wrong, because if you do, it just will not flat out go together. So this one's going to be a little trickier because, as you've seen when it was coming out, it kind of fought me a little bit. It's just kind of just how it goes. Alright, so I'm going to leave this to set, let it get used to how it's going to be. We're going to go to the car, get it cleaned now. So it is really a two-part problem. It's going to be hard to record, so I'm just going to show you the before and after. But as you see right there, that little black line of stuff, that's where the oil actually seeps underneath the gasket and pretty much leaks on the exhaust, and that's where you can get a fire. It's at the junkyard, and I forgot to go get pictures of these that have been caught on fire because of this problem. There was a recall on it, but again, GM tends to get away with the recalls more than I think they should, but hey, it is what it is. So yeah, you want to get all that stuff clean? We'll get all that clean now. It'll take me about an hour or so. Other than that, I'll show you when I'm done. It's just not feasible to record at this time. I just don't have cameras small enough. Alright, so I spent the last hour cleaning. Pretty much cleanliness next to godliness if you don't want to have a leak again or have to do this twice. Being that we're preparing this car for sale, we want to make sure the owners don't have problems for at least 10 years to come. So other than that, ready to slap the cover back on. The only thing left to do is just got to clean the little eyelet things, pop them in the cover, throw the cover on, good to go. Sure did not make that friendly, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, it's a bit of a fuss to go back in there. It's just really tight. Fortunately, I couldn't get you folks better views. Sorry about that. But none the same. Parts in. Tighten it up just like the front. And I'll get ready to put this thing back together. You want to make sure when you torque these down that you just run them down first. Kind of what I'm doing. Just go through and do a quick little hand torque. Alright, so I got this bracket back in. Now you do not want to tighten this bracket down to get the alternator in, and for obvious reasons. I've seen a young tech do that once, and I'm like, man, leave everything loose till you get it in. Oh no, I know where it goes. Yeah, right. Alright, there's the home for the alternator. We're going to get ready to stab that in. As you notice, I didn't disconnect the power. There's no need to. Just throw it over. Alright, let's put that back in. Yeah, getting this belt on by yourself can be a trick sometimes. Get it lined up, then hit it. Missing no ribs now. Good to go. Now, GM through the years have changed their grounding. Some of these may have 4, some of them may have 1. This particular year has 1. But you want this on the outside of the bracket. Keep this ground accessible. I'm actually going to pull it out and put it up front. See how it leaves enough room for the wire to come out. If you don't hook this ground up, your GM may not start. It might. Alright, grab the bolt. Now you don't want to over torque this bolt because it can destroy the ground, but it has to be secured. Okay, we'll get that one. And look at that, no parts left over. Because that's what we do at Keith and Kevin's Repair and Restoration. We have no parts left over when we do our jobs. Alright, we're going to torque those up. Alright, only thing that's left, coil pack, cleanup, fluids, battery, start, test, everything checks out, clean it up, sell it. Alright, pretty much we're going to stop here, and then next segment we'll go after the finishing touch. One of the last things we're going to do for Monte is we're going to replace the battery. We know the battery's weak in here, and I would not sell a car to a customer with a weak battery. I just think that's kind of just shady work. We've done everything else to this car, and not to replace this battery, it wasn't too expensive, just doesn't make sense. But you're going to need 2 tools. You're going to need a 1/2 inch socket, you're going to need a deep, and then you're going to need a 5/16 to take the terminals off. And don't try to use crescent wrenches or vice grips, because as you're going to see here, we've already got 1 lug to replace because some bright star had already done that, and that's on the negative cable. But other than that, it's pretty easy to do. First things you do, just undo your battery. Know your car's going to run a little funny when you get it back together because all that learning it did, well, it has to relearn. Alright, we always pull the ground off first. This way we have no accidents, no sparking, none of that nonsense, no need for that. Just do it the quick and simple way. And on most GMs, you're going to find that the positive cable has 2 wires to it, one to the alternator, one to the actual system, to the ECU and whatnot. It's probably one of the easier jobs you'll ever do on a car. But there are some cars out there we found that they actually put it in the fender, and it's about a ½ hour to do a battery job. This one will be done in about 3 minutes. One thing we find with a lot of cars, they don't have their battery hold downs, and one thing every car that comes out of here does when it leaves. But ours is here, so that's good. But this battery has been giving us trouble. You know, during testing we found that it was about 11.72 volts, and we've charged it, and it's just a weak battery. I wonder why. I'm not going to say the Napa battery power is okay. I don't really care for Napa parts. They go out 13 months, 1 month out of warranty. I could tell you stories about fuel pumps, but I'm not. Yeah, you can tell this battery's been in for a long, long time.
At least GM used the same battery hold downs across all their GMs. That is pretty nice.
Yep. You can go to any GM product and pretty much get a holder and bolt. Alright, out we come. Yeah, we got a little bit of dirt to clean up in there, so we'll do that now. Hey, look, found a tool.
Oh, that's that scraper I lost.
Oh. Well, there you go. Found.
I wonder what I was doing with the scraper.
Don't know. Yeah, while you got your battery out, you definitely want to clean this up. This can add to corrosion. You want it to have a little bit of breathing space. That's why there's holes here, to kind of let any corrosion drip out without actually affecting the chassis. Now this is a Group 78 battery. If you see anything else but a 78, someone put the wrong battery in. People are trying to be cheap. Don't be cheap. Alright. You want to make sure your vents aren't covered. That's in case the battery leaks and it, you know, lets the acid hit the ground, which isn't good, but you don't want it tearing the car up either. A little anti-corrosion protection. Stuff works. Really does.
Does it look like our tips need cleaned?
No, they're actually in good shape.
I'd say not. What about this one? Nope, I think we're okay there.
Nope, no corrosion. Now would be a time to clean it, but ours are good. A lot of battery problems come from these terminals. One thing I've learned over 20 years, all batteries leak. Alright, back in with positive.
I believe GM did this style on their Oldsmobiles and their trucks and their vans.
This is GM style, side post.
I haven't really seen anything different from GM.
You see a GM with top posts, someone did something they weren't supposed to.
Oh, I believe the 76s were...
Someone did that aftermarket that was not factory.
They originally did that on a 76? Every 76 I've seen has been top post.
That's because they don't go out and actually replace it right, Kev.
Oh.
Yeah, otherwise it should be side posts.
Oh, loosened up on me. I always got to recheck. Of course. good now.
Alright. Other than that, quick battery job, it's done, it's ready to go. Alright folks, we have fixed the fuel leak, we fixed the electrical issue, got it running, we did the timing chain, replaced the valve covers, replaced transmission cooler lines, and finally the battery. Now this car is good to go. Smells like a GM, sounds like a GM, she's ready to go. Now this car is ready for sale. Alright folks, we hope you enjoyed the series. We did a lot on this car, and sometimes this is how it is, but you know, Oldsmobile's a classic, they don't make them anymore, it's well worth the work, the body was straight. Alright, we're on to the next project, we hope you enjoyed the video, we'll see you next time, thanks for watching.